That's right. How do I get this to shut off? There it is. What's up, guys?
What are you trying to shut off?
The link. There was the link to the workshops that was from last
on the
webinar.
The comment. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm trying to get my thing. It's all screwed up right now. Whatever. I was just on a cosmic brainstorm call for 2 hours with Yannick and and Sophia and a bunch of Mavericks. Yeah, it was great. I had a little group of 4 people, and my idea won within the 4 people, but it lost in the second round. The Spectre made an appearance.
Yeah.
You might not be familiar with the Spectre.
I am not.
He's a little known DC Comics superhero. He's a ghost. Makes him odd. This particular Spectre glows in the dark, I might add. And we were talking. We were talking about the future of business, and I was talking about the coalescence, the merging of entertainment and marketing, and I talked a lot about the mascot marketing and the fictional marketing stuff. Anyway, we were asked. I even made a sock puppet. It's a Richard Branson sock puppet. I didn't have any yellow markers. I only had orange and red, and so this is my 90-second Richard Branson sock puppet that I just made. If I was good at doing any kind of a British accent, I would do that right now, but I'm not.
I see.
How's your morning been?
Good. Got a good workout in.
Yeah?
Yep.
Cool. Did you dress up as anything for Halloween?
I did not.
Dude!
I was a grumpy hermit like I am every day of the year.
I dressed up similar to this. What did I do? I did this. Oh, here's my Halloween. Actually, I wasn't wearing. Whoa, geez, sorry. Something just. I lifted my desk. It's hydraulic desk, and I lifted it up earlier, and something just fell off it. Anyway, so this is my New Orleans mask, and then this is my Burning Man hat, and these are my wicked funny Oakley running sunglasses that are hot pink. And then I did this. I had a different shirt on, but just for extra safety, this was kind of my Halloween style.
I see.
Yeah.
Very, very, very funky.
That's how it's done. That's how we do it in Vermont.
That's how we roll.
That's right. So let's talk a little bit. What's up? We're talking about escaping the Max says, Darren, there she blows? What?
There she blows. Maybe we can get some
Yeah, no crap, bad typing, Max. Max
boy, critical much?
Max started his 99-day streak, I noticed.
I saw.
Job well done, sir. Nice to get it going.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. So what are we talking about today, Joshua?
Well, we're talking about the clone syndrome and how to tell if you're unknowingly stuck in it and why do you even care and like that.
What is the clone syndrome?
Well, my definition of it is when you're following what everybody else does, like, back in the day when affiliate marketing was all was on the forefront of what it meant when you were doing internet marketing. Everybody did the promotions the same way, and they used the same templated responses and the same emails and the same ads and the same this and that. So what ended up happening is that, you could make a big splash if you were first in, and you could cream the crop. But then even back in 2004, 2005, it was, it was deadly. And now it's just a kiss of death in general, because what I see going on is that people are copying my Shifu, my martial art master used to say, copying the leaves and the branches, but not the roots of the tree. And what I take that to mean personally right now is that like so many people are just following what everybody else is doing and what they perceive is working for one person or several people, and it probably is working extremely well for them. But if you only look at one piece of it in isolation and you don't take it into account for what you're looking for, it's a recipe for, you know, getting yourself trapped inside like the Me Too syndrome.
Right.
And not the Me Too like is in the Me Too movement, but the Me Too like, yeah, I do this too. Yeah, I'm the best. Yeah, I do, you know, and whatever. And so you end up sounding like nobody but yourself. And there's no authenticity. There's no genuine, you know, straight up.
Yeah, you
like,
come across as this like a cookie cutter frat boy. There's like no differentiation between you and everybody else out there, or girl, or whatever. You just like, there's zero. You're just looking to fit in and be accepted. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, okay, I mean that works to a degree, but pretty soon, like, people see through that, right? I mean, that's a great way to put it, because like you have your
It's actually a great name for like a video or an article. It's like, don't be a frat boy.
Well, I mean, like, it would appeal to me. I don't want to put down anybody.
I know it's gonna offend all sorts of people, but like, I'm probably gonna offend them.
I mean, I know there's so many people into the Greek life, and
I know.
it's very important to a lot of people, and I can understand why, from the camaraderie sense and from that, you know, that tradition sense. But you know, like at the end of the day, though, if you're doing that with business and you're just outright copying somebody's, you know, like we all have swipe files, right? But the swipes files are supposed to be for inspiration, for you to adapt to your own needs and to take to the next level, not to outright just clone of the same thing. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to commoditize the whole thing, and then it's just noise. You know, it's like if you bold everything, you bold nothing.
There, one interesting thing about this that I've always wrestled with, and I'll tell you how I've dealt with it, is up until very recently, it had been a long time since I participated in any sort of a launch. And when someone does a launch, or at least in the email marketing world, when, you know, whether it's in personal development or survival or internet marketing training or BizOp or whatever, if you know we're dealing with email lists, people often provide swipe emails that are used many times. The emails that have been tested out to that person's list, and then modified a little bit in order to have them be kind of neutral. Right. So an affiliate could send it out and it makes sense and whatever. And the challenge is, especially if you're promoting someone's launch that's a good marketer in your industry, in your space, the challenge is, well, do you want to just use it as is, or do you want to make it your own style? And what I want to do is make it my own style. But here's what I found is if I use the swipe emails verbatim, as long as it represents stuff in a way that you feel good about, as long as it's within your moral compass. If you get 2, 3, or 4 of like the best swipe emails in a launch scenario, you can roll those out to your list and get an enormous wake-up effect, because they're in a radically different style than the normal emails that you send. And then you can follow them up with versions that are more in your vibe and in your style. So there are different ways you can play with it, but the trick is not to just always send out the easy promotion, which is the copy and paste. You know,
and I mean, like, that works for big payday type stuff for launches, because it has a beginning and an end. It's finite. It's an event, and it's going to come and it's going to go. So, I mean, like if they're hearing the same thing from different sources and it sounds radically different from the way that they're used to hearing from you, then it works to your advantage. But my point is, like, long term, if you want perpetual income, and you want to build a perpetual influence machine, you know, like an engine that continues to build and deepen the relationship with your list, so that each communication makes them more responsive, more excited, because you're making more of an impact on their lives, then you have to be, you can't continue to be like everybody else. You have to give unique value, and you have to frame it in. And personally, even when I use other people's swipe files, and I have in the past very effectively, I might add too, but I always frame it first of all, I mean, like, I won't even consider promoting something that I don't believe in. So like
Right.
the moral compass thing is just a given as far as I'm concerned, but I know that for some people it need to be said. But when you have, a particular relationship with them, and they have a particular expectation from those communications, I had better do my best of blending it before it, like, I need a paragraph or so intro into the templated copy, and then it works great.
Right.
But see, the other side of this also is, and here's the real issue, I think, and it works in the same way with like Facebook ads and YouTube ads. I mean, like all of it can be the same thing, is that if you've already built your list in a way that when they see who it's coming from, it immediately sparks them up because it's you, then you've already escaped the clone syndrome. You've conquered the hardest piece. But if you're starting there, if you're imitating what everybody else is doing in their ads, in their posts, in their Facebook lives or whatever, then you end up competing for the same mind share and the same attention. And you sound like, just like, yeah, me too, me too, me too, me too.
Yeah, it's interesting. So as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, we want ourselves and our business to be accepted by our clients and customers. In that way, we are vying for their approval, for their attention, for their credit cards, perhaps. You're looking for them to buy into you. The difference is, and I know some people are going to get offended by this, but it just popped into my mind. I think it's good. Is basically you need to stop acting like a lemming and you need to start acting like a leader. Okay. And lemmings are, thousands of them. They're all running all over the place, all just fitting in a big group, and they all look identical and they're just all going the same direction. And sooner or later, they're going to fall over the damn cliff because they're not paying attention to where they're going. And that's the way most people are behaving most of the time when they encounter a group of people that they want to be part of. Okay, you encounter a small group of friends. Maybe you move into a new neighborhood and you want the neighbors to like you. Maybe your kid's starting a new school and you're looking for some other parents that are kind of like you. Maybe you go to a new church or place of worship or spiritual practice. Whatever it is, if you're being thrust into a group of people, online, offline, we all want to be accepted a little bit, in some way. And if you don't, you're probably not spending a lot of time around those groups of people, and that's okay. But the difference is, if you imagine being a kid, going to school, going to these different places, interacting with these groups of people, it's you do adjust and you shift in order to be accepted by these groups. The problem is when you are a business owner, when you are an author, where you're a podcaster, maybe you're a YouTuber, maybe you're making Facebook Lives, some sort of social media influencer, email list owner, etc. You are now a leader. You are a celebrity, and leaders behave differently and think about things differently and look at things from a significantly different vantage point than a follower or a lemming, if you will, if you want a more vivid picture. So stop acting like a lemming as a business owner. Start acting like a leader. It'll serve you well. Perhaps you won't fall off the cliff.
Well, I can't. I can't disagree with any of that. I agree that it's about leading, and I'll tell you what, the easiest way to build that influence up, to build that rapport, respect, and influence, is to serve by giving first, making an impact in somebody's life and providing value in some way, shape, or form first. Stop waiting for the dollars to change hands and like, what am I going to get from somebody? And start making an impact, and you will start to attract to you people that think like you. But it relies on you being authentic. It relies on you being who you really are and being that leader on that particular subject matter. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're leading all the time and that you're a 1980s version of a leader, where you're focused in on leaders are like, they never back down. They never say, I'm sorry. They never make a mistake, showing weakness. You always take the power seat at the head of the table, in all of that, which is, in my opinion, it's old school. And whereas like leading like by giving people good, solid guidance and advice and making an impact on whatever level that you're looking to make an impact on their life about, and demonstrate it, give it, and then, they'll want more.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, one of the ways you can do this is simply to ask the question of your audience, how can I help? And so,
can I just say something about that? Don't do that as a technique, though, because like I can't tell you how many people. I don't know whether you started it or whether some other expert started it, but like all my DMs lately have been like, "So how are you doing with this? These crazy times and everything?" And I can just tell. But when I go to their profile page, before I even respond back to them, that all they're interested in doing is enrolling me. They have no interest in me as a person. They know nothing about me because clearly they're asking based on not even bothering to go to my profile.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
one thing that you can do is, for those of you who do have email lists already, an email list that you already have, whether it's 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people,
or 20.
If you've emailed them before, exactly. Yeah. Like you can send them an email and you can ask them just straight up, "Hey, I was thinking about you. How can I help you the most right now?" And you may or may not be able to help every person that responds. You can reply to them though. And what'll happen is, depending on the number of people that respond, and how much time it takes to start getting some responses in, this is something that you'll notice some patterns over time of recurring themes that come up, or you might just notice something that someone says that inspires you to create or a way that you can help them as an individual or your entire list as a group. It's a really good way of creating content and creating value and getting new ideas directly from your people who are already following you and genuinely helping them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's like the power of crowdfunding. I mean, done right, at any rate.
That's right. I mean, ultimately, that's what's happening, right? Is you're creating products or services that your people already want.
That's like Dan Kennedy used to talk about this example a lot. But when you get your content or your product is derived from like crowdfunding. I mean, he didn't call it crowdfunding, but the example that he always used to use back in the day was Girls Gone Wild, where they would go to the various clubs around the cities where all the young people that's in, and they would get their content that they were selling on a monthly subscription basis for free. I mean, they were going there and partying, and then eventually it got to the point where they were well known and people were vying to get into it. But the point is that like it's a collaboration approach with it, and people like to support that which they helped create.
That's right. That's right.
And
I was just thinking about that this morning.
Girls Gone Wild?
Nope. I was thinking about interviews, and I was thinking about the Art of Email Marketing group. And
God, you could do some serious interviews from that crew.
Right. Just only interview people that are already in the group. Right. And that will encourage more people to invite their friends to the group. That's it. And some of them will be mega celebrities, and some of them might be new students, existing entrepreneurs who are trying to learn email marketing, and they'll have more questions, but just really focus the interviews on the members. I mean, what an easy way of creating new, great, educational, interesting content, I mean, same idea though, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I was thinking about that, like, just before we started, this, so it's funny that you bring that up.
Well, and it's funny, like, about crowdfunding, right? Like when crowdfunding became big for a minute, and it was all the rage where, like Kickstarter, and what was the other big one besides Kickstarter? Well, it doesn't matter, but like everybody wanted to get their thing on to one of the crowdfunding platforms as if that was going to magically change everything.
Right.
You still need an audience. You still need to be able to, I mean, like you could have a billboard in the desert, which would be the same thing. Like you could put it up on the crowdfunding community, but it's not going to get any traction with the rest of the community there unless it gets some popularity, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, unless like the chances of using and piggybacking somebody else's traffic are thin to none. On the other hand, if you do what like Seth Godin did, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, which is before he wrote the book, before he even approached a publisher, he went on and said, look, I don't know if this is even anything that you guys are interested in, but I'll write the book if enough people buy it on this Kickstarter.
Which book did you do that with?
God, I don't remember. It was around 2012 that he did it. So whatever that was his launch then. The brilliance, I mean, he had a substantial following. He had influence over his tribe of people. And then he went in and he delivered the, you know, he said, look, I have an idea for this book. My publisher doesn't want to, you know, go in unless there's something there. So he went on Facebook. Yeah, maybe that was it. Was that part of the
No, I just happened to have this on my wall across the room, so I thought
that's awesome.
I thought I'd bring Seth Godin in to make an appearance.
Yeah, there he is.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Purple Cow.
Yeah, it wasn't Purple Cow, but no. It was because Purple Cow was like in the early 2000s, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I his more recent stuff, you know, he's been on my wall for a while.
Well, the point is, though, that he sold like 10,000 copies before it was written. It was totally, you know, legit, and everybody knew that it hadn't been written yet. And he just wanted to know, like, is this worth writing? And then, I mean, but now think about it from a business perspective. He's pre-sold before he's even written, and he sold 10,000. I don't know how many other copies of it. But now he goes to his publisher and says, hey, you know, first tier publisher, do you want 10,000 orders of this book? You know, it's all it's going to cost you is a nice advance for my time to write this. And so, I mean, like it's a great way to go. The point is, though, that he couldn't have done that if he didn't have the rapport, the influence, the following with those people to begin with. And I'm sure he picked up some new ones from the popularity of the stir that he made from his initial, you know, driving of his people into the process. So anyway, just food for thought. Cookie Monster.
That's right. That's right.
So that's about as prophetic as I am today.
That's right. I think that's all we really need. So, with that said, I think we can call it a day.
Sounds like a good place to put a pin in it.
Pop. All right.
Boing.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for being so chatty, Max. Keep going on 99 days.
Yeah, man. Keep it up.
Rock and roll. All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Later. Bye.
Bye.